Welcome today to our session of Securing Your Assets with OT-Focused Approach. My name is Shafeeqa Shakri. I am from Dubai Airports, and I am one of the co-founders of the Women in the Middle East. Now I would like to introduce the ladies.
Thank you very much, Shafeeqa. I'm very honored to be part of this circle. I'm Isabelle Meyer. I'm the CIO of ZENDATA Cybersecurity for the last 12 years.
Hi, thank you for having us today. My name is Leen AlHalabi, and I am a senior industrial cybersecurity consultant, and I've been in this field for the past 6 years.
Thank you, ladies. I'm really glad that we are all in one panel. So today, as a modern ICS is a complex system that depends on many different components and technologies to monitor and control physical processes, along with many of the managerial, administrative, and regulatory responsibility associated with this task. The heart of the ICSs is operation technology, OT, which is support availability and safety of critical processes. Modern days, the ICS have in cooperative with information technology based on the system functions desired in overall systems. So we know that the threat actors are now directing their activities toward technology commonly found in the power stations, factories, and the other infrastructure facilities. So how we can improve the cybersecurity of the OT can push back these type of hacking?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Anyone of you ladies, you can start.
Okay.
Yes.
Leen, you want to go first, or I'll jump in?
You can jump in. I'll go ahead.
Thank you. I would really, before getting to like the deep, tweaky, technical terms, I would take a step back and say, first of all, we need to tackle this problem in a very strategic way. And we really need to go with the management. Are the management aware? Do they know? Do they have the resources for it? Do we have the budget for it? Once management is agreeing with us, then we need to know who's going to take responsibility. Which team? Is it going to be IT? Is it going to be cyber? Are we going to have a dedicated OT team, which obviously I prefer, but it also depends what kind of company. And then I would say the fun starts. I'm going through the step quickly, but then once we have management on board, we have a dedicated team that will take responsibility for it. Then we go, okay, what do we have? What's in front of us? What are our processes? How are we interconnected? What's the scope? What's the risk assessment we're doing? And then we kind of built a roadmap through, okay, that's our strategy. This is where we should be. This is the money. This is how we need to be. And then you go to the technical. So in my opinion, there's many steps to attain before saying, okay, what do we put out there?
Yes. Now, Leen, from your perspective, what do you think?
So since she addressed like the management level or like the high level approach, for us, let's say especially in Dragos, we believe that the OT customers need to consider 5 critical controls to push back these types of attacks. Okay. So going more into technical, I'll just mention some points. So first one is having an ICS OT specific incident response plan, which is not the same as an IT. There should be an OT one, so the customer knows what needs to be done in case of an attack or a hack happened. The second one is having a defensible architecture. By this, I mean having good hardening measures, network segmentation, a DMZ, making sure to integrate the security controls within your DCS design phase. Like when you have the machines, all the computers need to be patched, hardened. So as per the factory settings. The third point is having visibility and monitoring solutions. You cannot protect what you can't see. So the customer needs to have monitoring and logging solutions to monitor the traffic and trigger any events within the environment. Fourth and fifth point, to go just quickly, is securing the remote access by having, for example, multi-factor authentication. And the fifth point is having vulnerability management solutions. So all these 5 controls, if the customer can have and put in place, we believe that the customer can achieve a robust, secured network.
Excellent. And I have very nice ideas and answers. Thank you, ladies. For the second one, I would like to say that, okay, for the advanced threat, like the advanced persistent threat, how can the OT handle or approach these threats? Leen.
Yes. So actually, the customer needs to be well prepared in both directions, proactive and reactive approaches. So the first one I will highlight, the reactive approach. I mean by that is to have a robust incident response plan in place. And not only this, it needs to be actually tested regularly and verified through, for example, tabletop exercises to gauge the incident response processes and to verify the maturity level of the employees within your company or your plants. So this plan helps the customer to know how to minimize the duration and damage of security incidents, also improving the recovery time, as well as reducing the negative publicity of this customer. In case, for example, an incident happened and the customer knows what needs to be done, there won't be any chaos. And this will reduce all the negative publicity in case of an incident. The second approach is proactive approach. And by that, I mean using the threat intelligence to build a mature OT network defense. So in Dragos, we have the threat intelligence called Worldview. This helps our customers to understand what threat groups target their industry, their technologies, their geographical actually area, and how they target them. So by having a better baseline understanding of these threats that are specific to the company and their industry, they can start to narrow the scope of what needs to be followed and better understand where to focus their time and energy and defenses. So the importance of the threat intelligence, it actually lies in its capability of identifying the malicious activities through your network and be able to, for example, through indicators of compromise, for example. So the threat intelligence lies on or relies on the indicators of compromise. And by that, I mean such as any malicious hash values, IPs, URLs, malicious domain names, and so on, so many. These will help the cybersecurity professionals to detect any data breaches within their network, making sure that if both approaches are in place within the customer environment, the customer will minimize the duration of their downtime, will minimize the impact of any APTs that happened on their environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Isabelle.
Yes.
As we know that the OT is more field of availability than the security. So how we can balance between these two?
Good question. So obviously, availability is part of cybersecurity. We know the 3 pillars, they're important. And I would like to say, for sure, in the terms of OT, I would put, for example, availability more important than confidentiality. I don't want to create too much wave, but indeed it's important. But in order to create that balance, I would go probably with different steps. First one is people. I know it seems easy and obvious, but really educating the OT people, the OT team about the importance of the cybersecurity and educating the IT team about the importance of availability. Although it really seems simple, there's really a challenge there, and they need to understand their mutual challenges and to respect each other in that different compartment. And then in terms of process, we need to have in place a very, very secure, easy model of interconnection between the IT and OT. And then in terms of technology, if we go down into those details, yes, it's true, we need to have a passive technology in place that actually doesn't interfere with the availability. So at the same time, if you have a technology there that is giving you the full visibility of your OT in a passive way, same thing in terms of vulnerability treatment, etc., it's also benefiting the IT at the same time. And again, just having those division between the team but as well communicating together and understanding each other, I think is a priority.
Yes, right. Now I would like to ask this question to Leen. You know that what are the top challenges faced in the OT security, and how we can implement the effective security control in the OT environments?
Okay. Actually, let's say the most common problem we see that the customer face is having legacy systems in place. Most of these systems in place, which were designed to run for decades, are powered by legacy operating systems like Windows XP, for example. And these are no longer supported by the vendor. So the customer starts facing a difficulty in patching these machines, in updating the signatures of any, for example, endpoint security solution that is installed on these legacy systems. So this problem, having this problem in place, we recommend always our customers to have multiple controls in place, starting by good hardening measures. And I mean by this, limiting user access, limiting network, limiting and restricting the services and ports required by these legacy systems. The second part is network segmentation. These systems or these legacy systems need to be isolated from the other systems. They cannot, we need to minimize the interaction between these systems as much as possible within the OT environment. The third one is to have a good life cycle management solution in place. As Isabelle said, the customer needs always to have a good, robust roadmap. Having such solution in place will help the customer to prioritize and know which system needs to be upgraded for the next 5 years, which one is more critical than the other. So having this roadmap in place will really help the customer knowing what's happening in their environment and when it needs to be done and how it will be done. The last point is monitoring closely these legacy systems. And one of the solutions is having a passive monitoring solution, like an intrusion detection system. It helps the customer to monitor the traffic, detect abnormalities, and of course, map the vulnerabilities of these assets within your environment. So having all of these solutions in place will help the customer to manage the life cycle of these legacy systems in a proper manner.
I see. Thank you, Leen. Isabelle, this is a big question, so I'm just directing it to you. So I would like to ask, as you know, that the spirit of 2021, the statistics shows that the workforce revealed that the percentage of women in cybersecurity is roughly around 24%, and but I know that in OT is a bit less. So what is your thought on this?
Yeah, the hardest question. Indeed, it's true. We are not enough. And this is a little hard to answer because obviously, even if you're talking about women in IT, we're not enough. Women in cyber, we're not enough. Industrial plant, even less. Engineering, not enough. And I really think that we need to get back from kind of the start. And even myself, I'm not part of the STEM girl in a way that, okay, yes, I studied a bit in science, but I became a lawyer. And it's after so many years that I switched my career, but it's also because I saw what's out there and I fell in love with it. And the girls in college, the girls in universities are not really aware of it. There's so many different paths, and I'm talking to you, I have goosebumps saying it. But now we talk about OT. but there's everything. There's data protection, there's threat intelligence, there's governmental
So there's so
positions.
many paths into it.
There's so many paths, but you know what we've seen now, and again, you still have the images of the hacker with the hoodie in his like basement, and the girls in the movie with the shaved head and the tattoos that nobody talks to. These images needs to change, and the only way is if us now now I say it, us, you know, women in tech, women in cybersecurity, in
We
the
look
Middle East
normal.
and anywhere else, we go and meet those girls, we talk to them. Let's show us what we can do. Let's show us what, you know, is there out there. And you know what? We're like the other ones. We're not shaved. We don't have tattoos. Some of them do, but it's okay. Some of them don't. It's perfect. So it's really, you know, to show how they can reach their dream by those different paths, and so what we're doing.
Yes, and then can you suggest some way that how we can attract them? How we can attract the women into this field?
Definitely. First of all, having those group of women in tech or women in cyber, I think it's still relatively new. And even for us, I mean, 12 years ago, actually, even in the company now, I'm one of the very few. So we did not really know who are the other ones. And if you attend things like GITEX or GISEC, or you go to those kinds of events, you see that, oh, we're actually quite of a big group, and we're actually quite nice people. So I would say visiting school, visiting the colleges, the universities.
The awareness
Exactly.
to,
awareness, sponsorship, scholarship, attracting them and showing them, bringing them. We have, for example, at ZENDATA in Dubai and in Geneva, we recruit trainees where we take them on board for 6 months. And I make it my job to recruit women at this age, younger women. And then they follow us, they follow what we do. They get sent on so many different projects in terms of OT, but also threat intelligence, SOC, these all important parts of it. And they meet different clients. And then within the 6 months process, they decide, would they want to stay with ZENDATA? Do they want to go to a client? And this is a way to show what we're doing.
Very good. Excellent. So we came to the end of our session. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. And I was really happy to have you both in this panel. And I'm really glad that I have really good conversation about the OT in general. And hopefully the audience can also, we can do something for the women, and then we can push the ladies to come into this field since the number is really less. So hopefully we can make it, push it for the next year. We will see how the percentages is going up or down. Hopefully it will go up. Okay, thank you, ladies. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very honored.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.